and that scares me, right? And so it is this fear of success rather than fear of failure that kind of keeps us prisoner.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Tiff and Tony Show. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome back. And Tony, how are you doing today?
I am doing awesome. Thank you very much. Early start this morning, so I might yawn here and there. It was a 5 a.m. call that got me up very early this morning. So already a long day.
Yes, I do not envy you.
No. And where are you?
Hanging in my hammock.
Right. So where are you? Because it looks
So
stunning.
I'm still in Moab, Utah. I've been here for a little over a month, and I'll probably be here for another few weeks, maybe another couple months. We'll see. Basically waiting out the winter until it's warm enough to go to Colorado. But this is a beautiful place to be. It's a beautiful day. I couldn't not record from my hammock. It feels great. Glad to be here.
Excellent. As I sit here in a Panera in Irvine.
You know, it's okay. We live different lives, and there are so many beautiful things about your life that I don't experience in mine. It's all relative,
Very
right?
true. Yes.
So today we're building off of our conversation we've been having for a couple of weeks. Last week, we talked about wanting so badly to fit in that we don't stand out. And so today we're talking a little bit more about that piece of letting your light shine. We mentioned that in last week's episode. If you didn't catch it, go back and watch that whenever you have some time. It might give you a little bit more context for today, but you definitely don't have to watch it to jump right in with us in this conversation. So Tony, today we really want to talk about letting our light shine, right? And maybe why we don't let it shine and how to do that and challenging ourselves. And I want to start out with a quote from Nelson Mandela that I'm going to let you read because you said that there was this speech that he did and it sounds really impactful. So go ahead and read us the quote and then we'll go from there.
Yes, it was Nelson Mandela's 1994 inaugural speech. He says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. You are playing small. You playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we consciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others." I absolutely love that speech, and I would love to have been sitting in the auditorium when that was given, because it speaks into everything that PureGame talks to kids about. This pressure to fit in, this thinking that it's a fear of failure, a desire not to stand out. All of the things that we've been talking about is what's holding kids back. And I would go so far as to say it's holding many adults back. I can speak for myself, constantly sit in this darkened room, afraid to let my light shine. Because if I let my light shine, then that's actually going to put me on a podium. It's going to make me stand out. It's going to make people see me. And that scares me, right? And so it is this fear of success rather than fear of failure that kind of keeps us prisoner. What do you think about that quote?
Yeah, I have two thoughts specifically that I want to share. One about what you just shared and how you talked about, kind of this fear of success being put on a pedestal. And our culture is so confusing because it tells us to both be famous, be rich, be great, and also be humble about it. And so it's really hard for us internally to be okay with letting our light shine, letting our strengths be out there. And yes, there is a fear of failure, a fear of rejection, that we might put what we think is our strength out there, and culture, the world doesn't accept us. That's true. And also that fear of, oh no, I am being put on a pedestal. What does that mean? Because if you are successful and you are in the spotlight, it complicates your life in so many other ways. So that's just a whole nother rabbit hole that I'll stop right there. Otherwise, we'll spend the whole episode on it. And then going back to Nelson Mandela's quote, something stands out to me so much. And it was that shrinking yourself so that other people do not feel insecure. That happens so much. I can speak for myself. I know I do that. And honestly, that's probably a form of codependency where you're trying to protect other people's feelings instead of being yourself. You can still be respectful to others while being yourself and letting them process their own feelings about how they feel about you and your success or whatever that means. And so I think, though, it can just be so hard to be yourself, even if it means somehow being superior in some way to those around you, because we don't want to hurt the feelings of those other people. We don't want to be too different. We don't want to stand out. We have this fear of standing out because then we won't fit in. And it just, I don't have any answer to that necessarily. In some ways that becomes a deeper philosophical issue. And that's why we're bringing it back to our topic today of challenging you to let your light shine, challenging me to let my light shine. Tony, letting your light shine. I know for me, there's some areas of my life that I am afraid to put myself out there in ways that I know I have these strengths, but for one, I'm afraid of being rejected and that, I won't be accepted, even though I'm fairly confident in this area. I'll just say it like writing. I'm writing a book, and there are multiple reasons I'm afraid to put it out there, but one of them is that, the fear of standing out or being different or not being accepted. Like, maybe my writing isn't as good as I think it is. Maybe my book is going to tank and I've spent all these years trying to write some version of a book and it'll go nowhere. There's all, and I compare myself to people around me that I admire and look up to who have published successful books, things like that. And so I know that I struggle in some specific ways about putting myself out there. So Tony, I want you to name an area of your life that you're afraid to let shine. And then we're going to give our viewers the challenge.
Yeah, it's actually, it's kind of in the same vein. It's writing and putting myself out there on a vlog. So I want to create a video blog around the world of transitions, making a transition into a new career, transition from school to school, transitions from year to year, transitions from athletics to business. I want to talk to around that. I believe that I've got a lot of good things to say about that, but again, that's my belief. I believe that I'm fairly good on camera. Again, that's my belief. So it scares me to think, even now, I can feel the fear coming in that's a place where I could actually excel and let my light shine. But it's a fear that's real for me. And this, we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? And then he says, actually, who are we not to be? That's true. Who am I not to be brilliant? I've got what it takes. I've lived a great life. And we've talked about this before in our past, living in an abundance mindset. And I want to remind myself daily that we live in an abundant world, and I want to have an abundant mindset. So that's mine. And so the challenge to our listeners today, our viewers today, is what is it? What arena of your life, could be multiple, but what arena of your life do you really want to step into that scares you a little bit, that will let your light shine, that will let your brilliance out, that will let your talent out. And I want us to come out of that darkness of wanting to fit in and a need to fit in, and really embrace what it is you've got, who you are, and take that to the world And I think if we teach more kids how to do this and not to simply conform, we teach more kids how to do this world will be a better place because of it, because more people will be who they are, but more importantly, more people will be accepting of other people for who they are. And in this world that we live in, could be off on a tangent here, but in this world we live in, we are very quick to rip people down. And I think that's something that's got to change. So don't tear people down because of what they're doing. Lift them up, accept their brilliance, and let their light shine.
Yes, I love that. And one last piece of encouragement, because we know that this process is not easy. It's not just snap your fingers and, oh, today I'm going to let my light shine. I'm going to put myself out there. You will need to challenge your negative self-talk. One of the things, a recurring message I tell myself when I'm struggling to put myself out there in certain ways because I'm afraid to be judged by other people or think that they're, that I'm trying too hard to be popular or something. I fear that people will judge me in that way. But the recurring message I tell myself is, what do I have to offer? Who am I? I'm nobody. That's what I tell myself. And that's so destructive. And so I'm constantly having to combat that with more like encouraging, positive, loving self-talk. It's not toxic positivity. It's not that. It's telling yourself truths that are loving, because we're not going to be able to love and encourage and support others in their brilliance if we're tearing ourselves down and if we're tearing them down. Find that one piece of yourself that you're really hiding from the world that could just be so bright and brilliant and really shine a light to encourage other people, and put yourself out there.
Excellent. I love that. Love it. Let's do it.
Yes.
All right.
Well, thank you everybody for another great episode, and we'll see you right back here next week. Bye, Tony.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining Tony and me in this week's episode of the Tiff and Tony Show. We hope you feel encouraged and motivated to keep growing with us. If you like what we do here at PureGame, one of the best ways you can support us is by liking and sharing this video with your friends on social media. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel using the button directly below this video on YouTube, and you can donate at our website, www.thepurgame.org. And with that, we'll see you right back here next week.